Hey everybody, Mike here from Next 72 Hours. I'm out in the local park. As you can see, there's a fair bit of wild bush and Australian natives around us. We've got houses and cars and people around us in other directions, but there's enough here to hide all that. I'm going to be collecting some tinder and bits and pieces of bark and grass and things like that to look at some of the natural tinder that we have in the area, to do a bit of experimentation for fire starting. I'm going to collect things from different areas. It's all within a couple of 100 meters of where we are now, down along the creek bed and the creek bank, and we'll see what we can find. Alright, so this tree's been damaged and some of the bark has become quite loose and easy to peel away, and we're going to collect some of that to use as tinder for our fire starting. There's a fair bit of stuff in this area, as you know. We'll see how this works. Put into our collecting bag and go look for some more. Okay guys, I've got some bulrushes here. As you can see, they've already opened, which will make them very susceptible to any kind of heat, any kind of flame. So we're going to take one of these with us and try and squeeze that down. Dave Canterbury talks about using this stuff, and it's going to be great to start, but it'll go up like it's got methylated spirits or petrol in it because it's so fine. So we'll need some more stuff to go with it. I'm going to try some of this dead leaves and we'll see whether that helps with the whole process. Okay, let's go see if we can find some more stuff. Okay guys, this is paper bark, typical Australian native tree. Bark peels off, it's really soft. This stuff is very, very fine, papery kind of feel. It splits apart, breaks up very easily, very easy to crush in your hands. That's going to make some good tinder as long as it's dry. Very useful if you're out in the bush. It'll also provide product that you can use for bandaging and stuff in an emergency. Wouldn't really want to use it, it's not that clean, but if you've got nothing else and you need to use a pressure bandage of some kind, certainly you can use it to apply pressure. Okay, I'm going to take some of this grass with me. As you can see, there's a fair bit of green through it, but it's fairly dry. So I'm going to try and collect the drier leaves to take with me to make my nest, and we'll just see how we go. All the stuff that I've managed to collect together so far should make for a good bird's nest. Don't want the green stuff, it's pretty useless. Put that in with the other stuff and see how we go. That'll do. Okay, we're back at my place, away from prying eyes and danger of somebody worrying about fires. And I'm going to try and start this stuff that we collected earlier with some of my everyday carry gear. This is my everyday carry bag, bit of a man bag. It's got a bunch of gear in it, some fire starting, some cutting tools, etc, etc. I have a Fresnel lens, somewhat larger than I'd like to be carrying, but that's the one that I could find at the cheap shops. I'm planning on doing some experiments where I mask off some of it and see whether it still works okay. I also have a fire starter, which if the Fresnel lens doesn't work, I'll give it a try. And I've got a couple of other things in there, matches, things like that, which I'm hoping not to use today. I want to try just one of these two tools here. So here's the tinder that we've got. We've got the bulrush that's broken apart. We've got some different kinds of bark, some grass, and some of the leaves from the bulrushes. And I'm going to make a bit of a bird's nest to try and start, and then I'm going to try and start it with the Fresnel lens first up. So we distribute the grass and so on through your fire bird's nest. Remember, you're looking at heat, you're looking at air, and you're looking at fuel. Right at the moment, the stuff that we're using is we want really small and fine so that it'll start very easily with a bit of spark or a bit of heat. What's going to happen is then we will add larger sticks to it and provide the same thing for that fire as we go. This stuff feels great, feels nice and dry. The Fresnel lens doesn't work. The spark should work into this stuff really, really well. Let's see what happens with the Fresnel lens first. Smoke coming off straight away on the I had it shining onto the bulrush for a while, but it just smoulders, so I'm not going to carry on with that. Right now I'm working on a small piece of bark. the results that I want there. Try something different. Plenty of smoke. Going nicely. Takes a little bit of effort, as you can see. It's all about practice and experience and just giving it a go. Now we add some larger pieces to the situation. Piling it up in a teepee kind of situation, style. Most of you will be aware of the necessity of getting a bit of a teepee, so we've got heat rising into the tip. Stuff has been sitting overnight, it's fairly damp, all things considered. Yeah. Needed a little bit of coaxing. A lot of smoke because it's very damp. That's okay. Wash that off. Silly. There you go. Starting a fire with a Fresnel lens. As you can see, even though the timber was a little bit damp, if you've got a good bird's nest to start with, it works much more effectively. That wasn't a great bird's nest, but it's working quite well. I'm quite happy with that result, and have fun with your fire starting.